Years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
If you're drunk,
Plastic.
intoxicated,
Rip. Plaster.
taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Show in New Mexico.
For 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, a couple of games last night we got to get through. Crazy, huh? This league is nuts. Yeah, I know you saw the Commanders winning. Maybe because it's not out of the realm. Are the Bengals done? Are the Jaguars done? Is Trevor Lawrence? I don't want to say done because they just gave him $55 million per year, but I mean, give me another word. Shelved? Not there? We'll get all of that, but what we do on Tuesdays when we get started is we check in with New Mexico State and their head coach, Tony Sanchez. Aggies were on the road in a conference game on Saturday past. Sam Houston beat New Mexico State 31-11. That game was down in Texas. Aggies fall to 1-3, 0-2 in conference play, and everything turns this week. And I know you've already felt it. No matter where you are, probably in your office, maybe you're in one of those, mixed marriage homes or something. Lobos, Aggies, Aggies, Lobos. It is the rivalry of enchantment this week. Down at Aggie Memorial Stadium on Saturday, New Mexico State will play host to the New Mexico Lobos in a game that matters a lot to a whole lot of you. We'll get into that and what happened down in Texas last week for New Mexico State as we check in with their head football coach. Down in New Mexico State, he is Tony Sanchez. Good morning, Tony. How you living?
Morning, doing good. How you doing?
Well, it's good around here. Rivalry week always feels, I know it does down there too. There's just a little extra buzz, and I'm going to guess it's buzzing a little bit down in Las Cruces as well.
There's no doubt about it. Again, being a guy that played in this game, coached in it a couple of times now, and it's exciting, and it's obviously we're trying to find our footing right now, like a lot of teams, kind of like UNM is too, so it's like the big game for both of us in a lot of ways, kind of get going in the right direction, and it's been a game that's kind of been an igniter for us the last two seasons. So we'd love to have more of the same, but we're gonna have to get out there and get after it. Broncos got those guys playing hard, and they've been putting points up, so. We'll definitely be challenged, but we're excited about it. All
right, I want to get into that in a little bit, but I want to look back last week, and you just talked about putting points up, and you guys are struggling a little bit with that. 11 points last week. You went to it's the third quarterback you played this year. Obviously, offensively, you've got to get better, and when you look at the tape, what do you see?
Well, first of all, we got to get some guys back. Caden Yar, our center's out, left tackle's still out, so that created like a three-man rotation. We moved our right guard over to center, and, we moved our left. We had three guys move out, tackle moved down. And so you saw some issues on the offensive line that we hadn't seen at that level since, with those three dudes moving around. And then, our tight end was out, Tally, Fappel was out. He didn't play, started a new quarterback. So there was a lot of moving parts there. But I tell you what, Santino did some really good things. You talk about the progression from, week one to week two. Well, that was his week one. And he did some good things. He got a live arm, we limited some of the menu. With him getting 2 weeks in a row of the one reps, I think he'll continue to progress. We got two of those guys coming back at least this week, if not three of them. So that'll help. That'll stabilize the O-line, get them back into their natural spots, and hopefully that'll help us kind of get going.
Yeah, for people who don't get it, and football people get it, everything starts up front. People tell me, well, what's the difference between a guy playing a guard and tackle or a center? It's a huge difference, and especially when your center's out.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. When you're sitting there and you got to figure it out. It is what it is. But when you got your left tackle and your center out, that all of a sudden it creates a huge reaction with guys having to move to different spots that aren't necessarily the most natural spot or where they've got the most amount of reps. And Yaro's a guy that's got damn near 40 starts in his career. So having him out, first time he hasn't started a game in 3 years for us. So it made a little bit of a difference. But at the same time, it gives some other guys some opportunities and get some experience, which you got to live through it. But later down the road, it'll definitely help.
Now, Tony, right now for your defense, there's almost more pressure on it as your offense works through things. Got off to a good start, forced a couple 3-and-outs, but it's maybe the little things too. When you look at a missed opportunity for a turnover early and needing to capitalize when your defense puts you in those positions.
Yeah, there's no doubt. The first play of the game, we had a walk-in pick six, and it dropped it. It's it happens. When you're sitting there again, you're trying to get your footing and get a spark going. It'd be nice for that to happen. We had 2 other picks, and right after those picks, we threw picks. It's like it didn't even happen. It's like, man, it was. The second one was more on the staff than it was on Santino. We put him in a bad situation with a double move with about 3 minutes left, and we should have anticipated some more soft coverage there. And then, we created one turnover where they ended up, jumping on the ball. And then the second one, we had a scoop and score that, went to review and they called it back. And it was, it was close. But, if any of those 2 pop for a touchdown, it kind of changes the complexity, and gives us a little energy and gives us an opportunity earlier in the game. Offensively, we had the ball for about 10 minutes in the first quarter. They had it for about 5. And then if you look at the second, third, and fourth, our defense was on the field way too long. We lost, the first time we've lost time of possession like that the entire season, and our defense, you just can't leave them out there that long. But there's not a defense in the country you can leave out that long. So they're actually playing some decent ball. But the offense has got to help them out. We got to do a better job in that second and third quarters, sustaining drives and putting points on the board.
Now, you mentioned what you did for your quarterback early in this one, even with the challenges up front. What do you like about what your quarterback is able to do in terms of consuming the offense, and then what you're able to start building on this week with that experience?
Yeah, when you look at the early part of the game plan and and some of the throws that he made, critical third down throw to the tight end. He did a good job in some of the RPO games, just getting the ball out into some empty spaces. It was good to see. He threw some verticals, or they kind of bled a little wide. He needs to do a good job of giving those guys better opportunities. In the field of play. We also had a drop ball early on. It was second possession of the game. We have a nice ball that's going to get us down to the 37, and we just drop it. Later on in the game, he had a nice vertical where it got dropped again. Again, when you're trying to get going and you're breaking a guy in, those receivers got to step up and make some plays, and, we got to make sure that we keep, giving them opportunities. So, again, I like what I saw. I like the energy. He was able to run the ball efficiently. We ran some, Q draw stuff, just some quarterback read zone game, and, he did a good job of picking up some yards.
He's New Mexico State football coach Tony Sanchez with us on These Sports Animals. Santino Marucci is the quarterback, and he's your third quarterback. Guy who played at Wake Forest, had offers from Nebraska and Kentucky. A lot of accolades coming out. So obviously a ton of talent. But Tony, as you guys break in now, this is the third quarterback you played in what was 4 games for you. What's the progression? What's fair to expect as far as, I know you need it now, right? But as far as what you can feed him and what to expect, because just, I haven't seen him in person, but just looking at the where he's been and who's offered, obviously there's a lot there.
Yeah, there is. Unfortunately, he's a guy who was not here with us in the spring and wasn't even with us here in the early part of the summer. He came in kind of mid-summer. So, he missed all spring, missed all the, the beginning June stuff, got here, in July. So, he's only been here a couple months, So, again, it wasn't a lack of talent. It's just, a lack of, the system, understanding the system. You get those 20 practices in, those guys, the other guys are just a little further ahead because they've just been around and taken, the lion's share of the reps, So, again, it's one of those deals where, he's got some talent, he's got some ability. We just got to go ahead and keep, installing enough offense to allow him to be flexible, but at the same time, we don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. We got to do a good job of honing in, duplicating some calls, making sure that he's comfortable, and we've got to do a better job of establishing the running game and getting the ball to the backs. They gave us a lot of RPO opportunities. I think we came out and threw it, they're decently early in the game, but it's one of those deals where as the game goes on, we've got to make sure that, guys like Seth and Washington, they've got some more touches.
Is he your guy? Is Santino your guy now going forward? I mean, obviously he's got to perform, but
it's like everywhere else in the country. You know what? Your guy's your guy until he's not your guy.
Yeah, right.
I don't want him worrying about it looking over his shoulder. He's going to get the start this week for sure.
Yep.
And we hope he stays there. You know what I'm saying? But it's like any other position. At the end of the day, you got to compete. You got to compete every single day. You got to be great on Tuesdays, great on Wednesdays. Thursdays. You got to show some leadership, and and you got to be able to think in critical situations and execute. So if he can continue to do that and get better, if he gives us the best chance, then he'll be the guy.
A few more minutes. Tony Sanchez, New Mexico State's football coach, is with us on the Sports Animal this morning.
Tony, how do you get someone from the outside, a kid from a different part of the country, or they know what a rivalry is, but they've never experienced it, they might not know, just what it means to buy into the energy, to buy into what rivalry week means?
Yeah, it's funny because I'm sure those guys are having the same conversation. You got 50 new guys on your roster. You're like, wow, okay. So you walk in, you're like, hey, rivalry week, and again, half the room's looking at you like, okay, talk to us about it. And again, I think being an ex-player here, there's a little bit more buy-in as far as like, listening to me and understand how important it is. Again, I played in this game. Then you start talking about the history. It's the 114th game. I think it's been almost like 130 years since our first time we played. I think in the 60s we didn't, and then World War II, COVID, things like that. There's only a handful of times we haven't played the game over in almost 130 years. So you talk about the history, you talk about the rivalry. There's again, that chip on our shoulder type deal. Again, some of the stuff that they may have that we don't, and we're working towards, and so you talk about that stuff a little bit, and then the older guys. There are a handful of guys though that have played in this game multiple years, and we know that you're gonna have a packed house, and again, you drive around town. There's a lot of Lobos that live in Cruces. There's a lot of Aggies that live in Albuquerque. You see the license plates, and it's a great rivalry. It's good for the state. It's good for our two universities. It's obviously everybody's got to handle it right. It's funny. One of the reporters locally asked me, "Well, can you talk about the hatred?" I'm like, "There's no hatred in the game. It's just it's a fun, fierce rivalry, and like it should be. That's one of the great traditions of college football is rivalries, So we're excited about it, and I think our guys are geeked up about it. I'm sure they're working on the same thing over there, and should be a fun game on Saturday.
Toy, for you, because you played in it, I was trying to think down the line of the Aggie coaches. I can't recall one recently who played. They had Rocky Long who played in it, and he used to talk about it. Danny Gonzalez certainly played in it. But for you, with that unique atmosphere, like what did the rivalry mean to you as a player, and what does it mean to you now? You talked about the generalities of it's good for the state, but for you, was there anything specific? Was there a moment in the rivalry when you played?
Yeah, well, my senior year, I think I had like 5 catches for 100 and some odd yards and 2 touchdowns. We ended up losing the game. It was a tight game, and I had a great game my senior year. Again, catching a couple touchdowns, that was always a big deal. The last couple of years, it's funny when you look at us. You got to work hard to go get a win. But we go get a win. You have the exact same record you had at this time last year.
Yeah.
For us, we were 2-3 at the end of 5 games. I go back to the first year we were here, and we were 1-5 at the beginning of the season, and found a way to get into the postseason. But both years, one of my great memories is the first year being here with Coach Kill and the crew, and we were struggling. We weren't a very good football team, but we played really hard, and we were able to hit a big post to Cordell David for a touchdown. Monte had a nice touchdown, and we kind of got some sparks going and found a way to win that game. And then from there, we kind of got some mojo going. The guys got excited, and so that's a great memory. Just as a coach, and again as a player, just making some plays in the game.
Yeah. All right. And I remember that night there was a big party down there, a big celebration. I know you're hoping for one and a big crowd on Saturday. Always appreciate the conversation. Good luck in the rivalry this week. We'll catch up with you next Tuesday, Tony.
Well, I appreciate you. Go Aggies.
All right. Be well. He is Tony Sanchez. I love the the guys who played in it, right? And then they coached in it. That's just a different. And then there's guys who like, what? This is a deal, right? That's
going to happen.
Yeah. Because you got guys on both sides of this thing who are just going, so this is really a deal? Like, this is something I'm supposed to get fired up? Yeah, dude, people care, right? And, you got people in New Mexico's locker room going, we're 0-4, we just need a win. You got guys down there going, we're 1-3, we just need a win. I don't care who's on the other side. Wait, I'm supposed to care a little bit more this week? And the answer is kind of, well, yeah, you are.
I think one of the things that Coach Sanchez said that really is impactful was he pointed, that was a igniter for that team the past couple seasons. And this is that same exact game for both these schools on Saturday.
Yeah, and I know you call it not kind of. I mean, you call it a must-win for both of them, didn't you?
Yeah, must-win.
It really is.
For the Lobos, absolutely.
I mean, New Mexico State's in a position right now, too. All right, 505-246-0610. You can respond to anything you heard from him. Mike Bradbury's going to be in. We got a sweet deal for Lobo women's basketball and men's basketball. Coming up a little bit later today, we got football to talk about from last night. You can respond to what you heard from Tony Sanchez. 505-246-0610. We got to talk about conference alignment and, the lunacy that was yesterday. And it's not done. And I told you, I get this is going to be a big week, and I thought yesterday would be a big day. And I trust, we'll talk about it when we get back. You're driving around your car, and it's probably not as clean and as nice and as sweet smelling as you want it to be, right? I got a solution for you, and it's On the Spot Automotive Detailing. You can have that new car feel without getting a new car. On the Spot Automotive Detailing will come to you when it works for you, where it works for you. That means they come to the office. That means they come to your home. That means wherever it works for you, you don't go to them, and they'll detail your vehicle. When they're done, it smells and looks and feels like the day you took it off the lot. They've also got protective film. They've got tinting, window tinting, the best in the business, 3M certified dealer. They're the best in the city. They were voted that. They won it because, they're best in the city. Have them come out and detail your vehicle. Do yourself a favor. Treat yourself. And if you're looking for a great gift, this is it. Everybody, I've done this a number of times, given this gift. Everybody loves it. It's On the Spot Automotive Detailing. You can look into that online. Book and buy there at otsdetailing.com or call them at 505-859-2859. That's area code 505-859-2859.
Hey.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
David Williams, the interim athletic director, was in D.C. yesterday. I believe he's back in town today. But he told the Journal he's fully exploring all the opportunities and what's next in terms of conference realignment, including whether the future home of the Lobos is the Mountain West or another conference. I don't know. So, JJ, yesterday there was almost a feeling of, okay, right, midday. Memphis, Tulane, UT San Antonio, North Texas basically said no to the overtures of the Pac-12. That the buyout and the no guarantees didn't make sense for them to leave the American, right? Which I understand financially, and the Americans set on building their conference. Then we got word that the 8 remaining schools, New Mexico, Wyoming, Air Force, Utah State, Hawaii, UNLV, San Jose State, and Nevada, had basically come together, and I guess it was just an MOU they signed, a memorandum of understanding, but not a contract, that they were staying together, that they were going to use that influx of money that was coming from the buyouts and the poaching fees and spread the wealth. They were giving a little extra to UNLV and Air Force because they were going to turn down other conferences. Well, they forgot to include Utah State, evidently. And this is the one that blows my mind, is that Utah State is the one that then said, yeah, we're going to blow this whole thing up and go to the Pac-12.
Utah State sneaking out the back door. And it's for the thought of maybe doubling your television revenue. Like, is there any proposal that's on the table where they know for sure the X, Y, and Z, this is what you're going to get, but X and Y, they've struck out on. And so you're really telling me Oregon State and Washington State are worth that much more money for television partners?
So Oregon State and Washington State, along with San Diego State and Boise State, are going to be worth more than what's left of them out. I mean, they just are. Right? I mean, do we not...
Okay, how much more?
I don't know how much more. And so to your point...
So they think they could get like $15 million out of it.
Yeah, I'm hearing $10 to $15 million per. Yeah. So there's this metric. And so when David Williams was on with us, the interim athletic director at UNM, when he was on with us last week, he talked about, not media markets, but he was talking about media value. And it's... There's total viewership that they go through, and they ranked the schools in the Mountain West for total who's watching the games. And what's left in the Mountain West, Air Force was 81, Utah State 83rd, Wyoming 84th, Hawaii 94th, Nevada was 100th, New Mexico 102, San Jose State 103, UNLV 104. This is of the 134 FBS schools. So while New Mexico's television market is 40, whatever it is, they're 102nd when it comes to who's watching. I would argue, and this is where if I was sitting in that chair, I would be really vocal. Look, we are going to be better. And when we're better, more people will watch. You're right. People aren't watching a team that's been losing a lot. I understand that. And we've hired the right coach, and here's my commitment to football, and here's what we're going to do, and we are going to get better. Hence, we are going to bring more value to you. Now, you might be barking up a tree that doesn't want you to bark, right? But that's, I guess, why Utah State. JJ, I'm stunned it was Utah State. I am.
The Pac-12 is going to back their way into
a reverse merger,
not having to pay any of their war chest money. That's probably my favorite word from all this, is they have a war chest.
So you think if they pull 9 of them?
Yeah. I don't think that was their initial plan. I think the Pac-12, they were super confident. Like, we're going to go grab these 4 from the Mountain West. We're going to get whatever we want from the American Athletic Conference, and we're going to be good. And they're going to back their way into not having to pay out these buyout fees, and it'll leave a few universities high and dry. And it's business, and you understand it, but it's also so rich that Washington State and Oregon State, for the entire summer, we're playing this woe is us game. You should root for Oregon State. You should get behind them if you're a college football fan, because they were done dirty and they were left out to dry, and they're just doing the same exact thing. They wanted to be the sweethearts of America, and they're just doing the same thing that the other conferences did.
No doubt. There's no doubt. If there's 3 schools left out, I mean, Hawaii would be one of them, and New Mexico could be. It could be Hawaii, it could be New Mexico, Nevada, Wyoming.
And I understand the frustration, because there's so many Lobo fans right now that are just shocked that New Mexico has not popped up in any of this, and it was Utah State, of all places.
That one, I'm not lying to you, dude. I mean, I thought Utah State was one of those on the outside looking in. I did. Everything I had heard initially, and then all of a sudden, in the last 2 days, this bubbled up. They bring basketball. They've been to bowl games. They have a good basketball tradition. You're like, well, we got a better basketball. Do you? You don't. As much as you want to say you do, you don't. They've been really consistent in basketball. I guess they feel they bring the Salt Lake City market to them. They don't.
Like they don't.
The viewership, I just read you the viewership, so they're 82nd, you're 102nd, so they're 20 spots better than you, and who's watching them? Bowl games, they have been better than you in football. They have. They have. But yeah, this one was really surprising. And what about we don't want to go to altitude, and it's hard to get to. There's no harder place to get to than Logan. I would argue Logan's harder to get to than Laramie at times, depending on the weather. You've been to both.
Yes. Especially, football teams. That's much different travel party. For basketball travel, we've never flown into Logan. It's always flown to Salt Lake City, and then I think Ogden before.
Yeah,
and it's always a bus. Yeah. And you just keep your fingers crossed it's not snowing sideways through the mountains.
Yeah. Next up is UNLV. And look, UNLV agreed to this MOU yesterday to return to the Mountain West, but that was predicated on all 8 schools returning. And now Utah State's out, and Utah State may be the one that blows this whole thing up. So UNLV's now paused, and they're looking at their options. They were set to take this deal from the Mountain West. It included them and Air Force getting a significant lump payment to stay in the league. Well, maybe they should have included Utah State. But the decision by UNLV now to explore their options leaves the Mountain West in flux. Air Force commitment early in the day is in flux, and everything. And mid-afternoon they thought they had this put together, and they don't. And it's all over the place right now. So with Utah State leaving, UNLV is exploring options. The Mountain West is left with now commitments from 6 schools for 2020 or 2026. Air Force is still in it. Air Force, Hawaii, New Mexico, Nevada, San Jose State, and Wyoming. So if UNLV leaves, they need to add 2 more schools. You're saying, well, there's UTEP and New Mexico State. Maybe, right? Maybe. Staying in the Mountain West allows these schools to avoid exit fees. Before Utah State decided to leave, they were going to get it about $120 million. Now it's going to be more. All right, you're ringing the phones. I want to talk to you. I got to take this break. 505-246-0610. What you have to say, I'll answer as many questions as I can. I know you're pissed. I don't blame you. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time.
The strength of your collective count. Like, shouldn't that be a criteria? You know, as he said, I mean, the collectives are going to be what determines success or what drives success. He's right. And I know New Mexico's collective is better than Utah State's. I know that. And they're better than many of these, if not most of them. It's a really fair point.
Is that going to help football?
Well, it should. I mean, that's the whole point. Well, fair enough. No fair. Jeff, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Jeffrey.
Hey, good morning. I was a little shocked when I read that news last night.
Yep.
I mean, I got to be honest. And I also can't help but think something you alluded to that, I don't know, you think if they're poaching Mountain West, obviously I would think UNLV would probably be more of a target than Utah State. And first thing, isn't this the second time Air Force has kind of held tough on being trying to be poached from our conference? And secondarily, can you view this as the Pac maybe not necessarily actually getting what they thought they were going to get? Because this seems more like a choice C move to me. Like
100%.
They probably had A and B. They probably had A and B. Like, you know, we want this school. If not, we'll get that. But Utah State just doesn't ring as a top choice for me if you're the Pac. So tell me what you think on that.
100%. JJ and Jeff, thanks. I think Plan A for them was get those first four. Plan B was to get Memphis, Tulane, and maybe UTSA in North Texas, and they said no. Plan C might have been UNLV and or Air Force. I think Plan D was Utah State. Don't you?
Yes.
And now they're down to Plan E, or they may be going back to Plan C, revisiting the UNLV thing, right? Because you got both these schools at 7 right now with UNLV on the fence, or both these conferences, right? Both of them are at 7 with UNLV on the fence. Yeah. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Rudy.
That doesn't help the MooU universities. Now, they're at 7. Nobody else joins. The Pac's going to blow up.
Yeah, but somebody's going to join. They're going to get someone.
Yeah, who are they going to get?
Well, I mean,
they'll get. That's a trash conference. There's nothing in that conference that has any appeal. Go to Logan. Nobody wants to go to Logan. That's a joke. Here's the Pac-12 that used to play baseball. Name all the baseball playing teams in the Pac-12 now.
Baseball in the Pac? I mean, why do they care right now?
Because Oregon State is nationally ranked in baseball.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean, why do they care?
Well, I mean,
if you're a baseball player at Oregon State, you're going, I don't want Utah State. They don't even play baseball. Boise State doesn't even play baseball.
No, they care.
So you're looking at ruining all your sports programs
for football.
For some elusive money that they might not even get.
Look, I'm not arguing with you on that.
$50 million that they're offering these schools, it's pie in the sky. There's no contract. So the Mountain West currently is in better shape because they're going to get money. And all they have to do is find one school, UTEP, UTSA.
Somebody's going to go. UTSA said no. Baseball, what do they got? They got Fresno State, who's won a national championship, Oregon State, San Diego State. Boise doesn't play. Who else? That's who went over.
Colorado State doesn't play.
All right, so you know what they'll do? They'll go poach the Big West. They will. They will.
It's all so stupid to break up regional rivalries.
I agree with you.
And as far as I'm concerned, all you're doing is look. I'm sitting on the plane with the USC band, and they got there late. And these poor kids, they had to leave on a Thursday. You know, they get back late on a Sunday. They miss 2 days of school just to be in the band. The whole thing's ludicrous. It's so ludicrous.
Hey, Rudy.
What UNM has to do is position themselves, get that money, and keep the Mountain West at 8 schools, and they'll be just fine. There's more football that's going to get played in the Mountain West going forward than those. I just don't see the sense in that. Who are they going to poach? Who's next, Jeff?
Who are they? Like for the Mountain West? I mean, I'm not convinced UNLV's staying. If San Jose State would jump in a heartbeat if they just needed it to get somebody just to get them to the number, right? You know that. They have nothing. I mean, they have nothing in their sports programs
They're barely relevant in football. They're not any better. Look, if I'm a commissioner of a conference, I don't care if UNM joins. If I'm a football coach, I don't care if UNM joins. That's a designated easy win. So that's not the reason. Don't know what the reason is, but the reason probably is UNM wants to stay loyal to the Mountain West.
I don't think UNM has been asked.
See if they can make that work.
I don't know that they've been asked. Hey, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So after on the plane when they said, fasten your seatbelts and put your seatbelt, did they all start humming Conquest dun 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 dun, dun after everything the flight attendant said?
They tried to sing "Fight On" when the plane landed, but it was overtaken very quickly by the victors. That's Michigan territory, and you can go in. It was fun, and the kids in the band were nice, and I talked to a lot of them because I marched in the band here. But it was really funny, Jeff, because they're "Fight on for victory," and then all of a sudden it's "Hail to the victor!"
Yeah, winners win. Yeah, that's the winners get to sing. All right, man. Appreciate you.
And by the way, your daughter was great.
Oh, cool.
She was initiated into the Michigan Tailgate family, and everybody just loved her.
I appreciate you taking care of her. Thank you very much. She had a great time at your tailgate. Thank you very much for taking care of her.
Great.
See you.
Sure thing. And we'll get this worked out.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about UNM.
worried.
I think they have a good sports program, and we can make it better.
Yeah, I'm concerned. All right, man, thanks. I'm concerned about it, and I know a lot of you are concerned about it. 505-246-0610. Anthony, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Anthony.
Good morning, guys. So
morning.
Utah State, huh? So makes sense. Logan is Corvallis. Logan is Pullman, right? There's not much difference between those cities.
It's
amazing to me. Weren't we just praising the commissioner of the Mountain West like a month ago? How great of a job she was doing. I think now it's unfortunate that Washington State and Oregon State were able to convince all these schools that they were worth $9 million each a year extra, right? Because if the Mountain West gets $6 million, and they're telling these guys we're going to get $10 to $15 million, they're able to sell to them that those two schools alone are going to bring in that much more TV revenue.
Yeah, and they got rid of the bottom.
How do you fall for that? How do you, as one of the other commissioners or other teams in this league, how do you fall for that? Thinking, oh yeah, Pullman and Corvallis, yeah, they're worth about $9 million extra a year for all of us.
And they got rid of the dead weight. They got rid of New Mexico and Wyoming and who else?
But
Hawaii.
The Mountain West. But the Mountain West, even let's say for instance, and I'm just throwing it out. That's not what I think they're going to take. Let's say they took UTEP, and let's say they took New Mexico State in. They became a 19 league, and maybe they take Grand Canyon in for basketball only, so they got 19s for basketball and 19s for football. They're still going to be $6 million a year there because of CW, TNT. How they all want football. They'll still get their $6 million.
Maybe
where they'll get their $6 million because those people need TV. They need to be able to put something on their air. So they're going to pay them to put them on the air. But where is the Pac-12 going to get $15 million? I can't believe people fell for that. They think that's going to happen. That's not going to happen. There's not going to be that kind of money. In fact, they're going to be getting somewhere closer to the 8. I think they'll get about 8 or 9 because they're not going to be in a great bargain situation because of the TV markets. And I don't know how the commissioner wasn't able to figure out a way to tell the Pac-12, take us all, and we'll go under the banner of the Pac-12.
Yeah, and they didn't want that.
And maybe you have a chance to get $9 to $15 million. But how she wasn't able to sell that to them? Keep your war chest. Don't give us any of your war chest money. You two universities, keep it all. We'll come into you under your banner. And, that still might happen if nobody else moves. And I think Rudy might have a point. You guys tell me a school that's thinking of moving to the Pac-12.
Anthony, I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, obviously UNLV is. UNLV is on the fence again. So what is the Pac-12's value? They did take the brand. Look, with all due respect, Fresno State, Colorado State, San Diego State, Boise State were the brands in this market. In this conference. They were. So they got that with some legacy Pac-12 brands. They bring the late windows for TV, which are valuable. So those brands will, I think, and that's what they think, and I think that's what you think, JJ, are going to demand more money than the brands that are left in the Mountain West, right?
They are better brands.
Markets, right? So, yeah, they're going to get more money. They will. I don't know that I think that this league is constructed with New Mexico State and UTEP stays at $6 million. I don't. Yeah, there's late night windows too, but we'll see. I know we got to hit this break. Go ahead and we'll continue this conversation. 2460610. You're in on the text line, the phone line. I mean, we're not done, and I think we're at really right now at that pivotal tipping point.
A tipping point in fantasy sports as well. Underdog Fantasy is the way to get in the game. Underdog Fantasy elevates your sports watching experience. And what a night it was. Monday Night Football, a double dose, and it starts again Thursday night. Cowboys and Giants. Look at those stat projections, and let's put our pick'em entries together. What's a pick'em entry? Well, you go higher or lower on your favorite players' stats. We're talking touchdowns, passing yards, and more. And making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. It starts with 2 players from 2 different teams, and you build your entry from there. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code JJBuck, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. The Austin Eckler hire on the receiving yards was a good one last night, and you can dabble in it before the football weekend gets back. Major League Baseball, WNBA playoff action. Check out the stat projections for all your favorite players and sports on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code JJBuck to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Get in the game right now. You can win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower. Must be 18 and over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
And get a team in the CFP. No one's talking about that. And my response was, they think they're going to be P5, Power 5 league, and they won't. And he said, not technically, but the way the CFP qualifications are defined, they greatly increase their chances of having one team in every year. And that is a big part of this, right? They feel that they'll be the highest rated conference champion. The PAC will be better than the AAC or the Mountain West or Conference USA or whomever. And there are 5 guaranteed spots for conference champions. Yeah, that is part of this conversation. It's money, and then it's CFP access, which also equals money. So yeah, that's a big part of this.
But if you end up filling the bottom of your league with the majority of teams you just left, you're not leaving because you think you're in a better spot to get a Group of 5 playoff. You're leaving. You're leaving because you think you can double your television revenue.
Yeah, that too. And then
because you look at the non-conference schedules, they're not going to change for these teams.
No, they're probably going to play a bunch of these teams. Yeah, they left, but now they don't have to play Nevada, New Mexico, and Hawaii anymore.
Okay, that was never keeping them out of any.
I agree with you. I agree with you. This whole we're leaving New Mexico behind, and we don't have to deal with we don't have to, we're better than New Mexico. Yeah. I mean, but there's a whole lot of that out there right now. All right. Dan says, bigger high-priced quarterback bust this year so far, Jeffrey and Juan Jose. Micah John or the Dallas quarterback. Trevor Lawrence or Dak. Trevor Lawrence. Easy. Right?
Yes.
Easy. Momar says, let's go back to 2020. I'll hit the NFL stuff here in a minute. Matt's in on Stunned. He says, Jeff, what a disaster for UNM. I'm almost speechless. It's no secret that UNM football has really been a drag on the program for years. Outside of 2 good seasons under Davey, it's really struggled to compete. Coach after coach in all of our sports spoken about our overall athletics budget, but somehow deep down it's always felt like we at least garnered some respect as an athletics department and university. Turns out that deep down feeling must have just been gas, because clearly we got zero respect. We aren't even being mentioned. As for Dave Williams and Garnett Stokes, as far as Dave Williams and Garnett Stokes are concerned, I'm disappointed. I know we all look to point fingers and lay blame in desperate times, but don't we deserve some sort of explanation or commentary on what our leaders are doing to represent our interests? Outside of a 5-minute interview with you guys, it was like 12, over a week ago, and a 2-sentence tweet from Stokes, I haven't seen or heard anything. Maybe there's nothing good to say, fine. But it's still their job to say that. The silent treatment is going to bring out the pitchforks. I was rooting for Dave Williams to get the job because it seemed like continuity after Eddie's departure might be a good thing, and everyone always sung Eddie's praises. Well, turns out it was all a bunch of BS because Eddie strategically positioned us right at the bottom of the toilet, evidently. If Utah State is plan E, then I guess we're plan F, or, well, you get it. And Dave Williams is on a milk carton. Nice audition. Just a hunch, but I have a feeling that Stokes' cozy relationship with Navarez, the commissioner, has hindered any chance we might have to have been considered for the PAC. Totally speculating. Seems like we joined an alliance with the losing side and sealed our fate. Have a good one. It's from Matt. Wow. All right. And look, you're not the only one has said that kind of stuff to me. Eddie's got to bear some of this too now, right? I mean, this is, the position. This didn't just get here once Eddie left. Like, well, if Eddie was here, if Eddie was here, I think you're still sitting on the outside looking in. Right? I mean, this is what was here. Now, Dave hasn't said a lot. There was a quote in the paper, we're exploring all of our options, and okay. And I get it. What more do you want the man to say? I understand all that. But, yeah. I saw Eric Harper, UNLV's athletic director, with a big statement. Tom Berman's come out at Wyoming with a bunch, talking to his people. And Matt, I heard this at the tailgate on Saturday quite a bit. Where is the leadership? What are they doing? They're not telling us anything. And, I came on today, I said, I'm trusting that your leadership is out in front of this. That they're out, whether it's David Williams and Garnett Stokes are in these conversations, positioning UNM in the best place they could be. But you're right, man. Now, let me just tell you this. Up until like 2 days ago, I hadn't heard Utah State to the Pac. Had you? Like there was no, hey, Utah State's going to the Pac. So where do you want to be now? Rudy said the Pac-12 probably isn't going to get another team. I promise you they will get another school at least. And I think they're going to end up at 9 or 10.
It's the Utah State thing. You say there's not someone, there is always someone.
Yeah, someone will go. Promise you.
And I get it. UNM would be that team if they were offered. But when you are on the outside, I get the frustration. I think and you've touched on it, and watching just how it played out last night on social media, because that's where all the news was coming down and the fans' reaction, that not even a sniff, like not even a mention.
That's what's killing
the University of New Mexico.
If UNM got that call, you don't think they'd go? Would Rudy want them to go? Would like the fan who's like, bleep them right now? You're bleeping them because you're not invited, right?
Bleeping it until the invite comes.
Because
the Pac was like, sorry, it just must have got lost in the mail.
Yeah, I thought you guys were on that text chain. I just looked. I mean, it went to Eddie. Eddie was on here, and no wonder we didn't get a response from you guys. All right, you can keep them coming. 505-246-0610. We'll get into the NFL from last night as well. 2 games. Joe Burrow numbers. Joe Burrow, no win. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bond.
2 games in the NFL last night. The Bills ripped Jacksonville 47-10. Josh Allen went bonkers. Commanders and Jaden Daniels beat the Bengals 38-33. We can get into that. You're into the conference alignment conversation, and I can't tell you I blame you. 505-246-0610. Utah State seems now to be off to the pack. UNLV is on the fence. Yesterday afternoon, looked like your league was staying together. 8 teams agreed, signed that memorandum of understanding that they were going to stay together, split up the money that was coming in from the Pac-12 buyouts and poaching fees, a little extra for UNLV and Air Force to stay. Forgot to give a little to Utah State to stay. They went, blew up the whole deal. UNLV's on the fence, and here we are. You're at 505-246-0610. John, good morning. Thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, John?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Not too long ago, we were talking about the merger or reverse merger, which certainly would have been stronger than the American Athletic Conference. But, I think it was money, but there's more money floating now. But then, you're also having people making decisions. You look at the Pac-12 website and the, Mountain West website, and there's a lot of jobs. So are the people that are making decisions for the Mountain West saying, hey, we'll give our jobs up so everybody can go to the Pac-12 and vice versa? You'd know better than I would.
Yeah, Jeff. No. There's a lot of people concerned up at the office right now. I promise you that.
Yeah. So, you've got people losing jobs, and they're making decisions. So Mountain West doesn't want to merge with the Pac-12 because the Mountain West people want to keep their jobs, and vice versa with the Pac-12. But, we've got people making decisions on behalf of the universities they represent, but they're really making decisions for themselves, which is, capitalism and the American way. But I think that's part of the equation, too.
It's interesting. I appreciate you, John. Look, I know I think the Mountain West office, when the Pac-12 fell apart, I think a lot of people lost their jobs then. Their office has been pretty thin. And I think there's a thicker staff, and you know a lot of them, JJ, and I know a lot of people at the Mountain West office. Really, really good people. Many I consider good friends. And, there's a big concern up there about the future, what's going to happen. Harrison, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Good. What's up?
Hey, I don't understand why we're not making some noise to try and get in this Pac-12. We've got an opportunity here that would make a lot of money for the university going forward. The Pac-12 is going to be a stronger conference than the Mountain West. And I don't even hear anything that we're trying to do anything or we're making grumblings to do it. And Utah State is jumping over us. I mean, that's the third university in Utah. And we've got a better viewership here in New Mexico than they do in Utah. We would bring more to the table for viewership in New Mexico on the national level than Utah State does. And Utah State's jumping the gun. They're going to they know that there's going to be more money in the Pac-12 than there's ever going to be with whatever happens to the Mountain West. And the University of New Mexico, David Williams and Garnet Stokes need to start trying to get into that Pac-12. And I don't know why nobody's talking about it. We'd be an easy fit for that.
Well,
and we'd have a nice geographic location for it. And I don't know why anybody's not saying, why don't we get to the Pac-12?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are saying it. And Harrison, I appreciate you. Just because we're not hearing it doesn't mean it's not happening, or at least I want to think that. Let me give you one thing. You don't bring a bigger viewership than Utah State. According to the media rights and the total viewership ranking, this is since 2016 for football. So the cumulative viewership for football out of the 134 FBS schools, Utah State is 83rd and New Mexico is 102nd. Salt Lake City is a bigger television market than Albuquerque is. You could argue that they're the third, and you're right, they're the third school in that state. This is the number one school in the state. What I would be taking to them is the market size, the collective size, the strength of the institution as a research institution, as a land-grant institution, and I would be going to them with a plan on how we're making football better. Here's what we're going to do. Look, we've already started. Bronco Mendenhall is going to turn this around everywhere. This is why we made an investment in this coach. We bring you all these advantages, everything he just said. Our NIL collective is better than theirs, and theirs. And that is going to make us competitive. You love our basketball. Like all these, that's where I'd be going. And you've got to buy in on football. Like you've got to accept that we're going to be better in football. And it's a tough sell. I sure hope they're knocking down the damn door, though. I do. Marty, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Marty.
Jeff, to add to that, you've got to also present the whole package, right? So I think Lobo Sports as a whole is far more competitive than Utah State.
Yeah,
but it's about football. That's appealing to any conference, right? And I feel like the Mountain West, like their ego and their pride is getting in their way, because they're sort of just kind of waiting to see what the sky brings.
I'll argue on that, Marty. No, I feel like the Mountain West yesterday thought they got together, they gathered, they signed this MOU, they thought they were keeping themselves together. They had a plan. They were taking the war chest. They were feeding everybody some money, a little more to Air Force and UNLV. I felt yesterday they got proactive to keep their current group together until Utah State pulled the cord.
Right. Yeah, but you can't rest on your laurels, right? So you can't. Yeah. You don't know how these schools are going to react. UNLV is going to become next. They're going to want that market. So last caller's spot on. I'm not saying UNM's not doing anything, but I would much rather have them try to be proactive to go to the Pac-12 than have a conference that's not going to exist here in a few weeks.
Yeah. I'd rather be there too because it feels like that's where the stability is. So appreciate
absolutely.
You. All right. Text line, what's the deal with Mountain West and NMSU UTEP? Those are two natural fits for the Mountain West. I read where Mountain West might take UTEP and not New Mexico State. Is UNM blocking NMSU into the Mountain West? I know nothing about them blocking them. No. And look, don't believe everything you read. There's been so much stuff out there, and 95% of it hasn't been true. Well, this guy said Utah State. Okay, yeah. But there's been a lot that's been out there that, and everybody with a thumb has an opinion and is blogging. But JJ, look, I understand where football is, and I understand they all ran away from Albuquerque. They just didn't want UNM. Whatever the deal is, and I listened to some sentiment coming back from the Colorado States, the San Diego States, the Boise State. At least we're done with New Mexico. And I don't know if it's the market, if it's the city, if it's, Boise State had that issue with the baseball team in the ramp that time. And maybe that's sitting in their craw. I don't know. But if you don't have a full presentation package right now about how good this place is, how this place adds value from television market to here's what we're going to do. Look, you're what's killing you is football. Here's why we will be better in football. Here is our plan. And there better be some money behind that plan, right? All these things you care about. Rudy talked about baseball. We bring you a baseball program. You need a baseball program right now. We bring you great basketball. We bring you national championship, other sports. And we're easy to get in and out of. We have a better collective than most of those places, which will keep us competitive. And, let me circle back to here's what we're going to do to make football better. Oh, and by the way, here's what we're going to do to make football better. And land grant institution, high research institution, all these things that used to matter in college athletics. You got to throw the kitchen sink at it. And I know Rudy was saying, let's just stay in this league. It's better than I don't know, man. The stability feels like it's there right now. Now, did it feel this way 18 hours ago? Felt a little different. But I disagree with Marty to say they're just sitting on their laurels. I thought yesterday they did something to cobble themselves together, and Utah State pulled the shoe.
It's the getting away from the other schools is definitely up there. Yes, there's potential for more television revenue money in it, but they are just another Group of 5 league. Yes, they're positioning themselves to try to be the best of the bunch, which you could have been with still some of these schools in it. They just made it messier and more difficult than it needed to be because they really thought that we're the pack, so we're just going to be able to pull Tulane and Memphis and all these schools just to go to the pack. And no, you are just Oregon State and Washington State. All
right, Mike Bradbury is going to be in here in a few minutes. A little women's basketball coach. We got a sweet deal for you. We can continue this conversation. The number's area code 505-246-0610. 505-246-0610. It's the text line. And the phone line. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com and JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. You go around town, you see their vehicles. IPS, International Protective Service, private, affordable security that keeps you safer. That's why retail stores have used it. That's why residents, citizens, people like me utilize IPS to keep their property safe. You work too damn hard to build your business, to build your home, to build your family. Protect what you've built. Call IPS and have them watch your property. Bad guys are out there looking to destroy what you've built. Many times, IPS will catch the criminals in the act. Well, they're there 7 minutes or less when an alarm goes off. The police, there's just not enough, man. There's nothing against the police. There's just not enough officers to respond to all the calls that they get. IPS is there. They got standing guards. If you need eyes on your property around the clock, they'll install alarms, cameras. They got state-of-the-art facilities to monitor the cameras. They raise the level of security around your home. So the question becomes, who's watching your home when you're not there? And hopefully the answer is the good guys and not the bad guys. I use IPS. I suggest you do as well. Give them a call, see what they can do for you at 505-897-2420, 505-897-2420, or online at ipsglobal.com. Passionate about making Albuquerque a safer and better place to live and work.
This report is sponsored by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife. And our daughter.
Be asking you and everybody and your answer. This is out of your control, or as they say, above your pay grade, right? But I know you got to have thoughts about it as you watch the uncertainty of your league.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to pay attention. I try to keep things pretty simple, and for me, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know why what's happened has happened so far. We do address it with our recruits and things like that, and try to comfort them and just stay focused on how good UNM women's basketball is, and just stay focused on that. And I know from our administration and President Stokes that commitment won't go away regardless of the situation, what league we would be in, or who's in our league. And So we stay focused on that.
It's all you can do as a coach, right? And until somebody asks you, I mean, somebody way more important than me that asks you for your input, I guess, what do you do? As you go recruit, does it come up? Has it come up in questioning?
Only in the last week or so. Yeah. It's come up and just from the players that are already committed to us, hey, what's going to happen? And like I said, I answer it with that. The focus on us is UNM women's basketball, and I know we have a strong commitment to that sport.
I saw a tweet from Richard Pitino yesterday, and I thought he had a really good point on it. And I think you fall into the same category. Lobel basketball is going to be strong because of who we are, the fan base, our support, our commitment to basketball, and the way we do things. You're going to be relevant. You're going to be good, continue going forward. And I thought that was a really good way to at least address the concerns because you have no answers.
Yeah, correct. And it's and that's kind of how we're both approaching that is, our basketball programs are supported well and they both do well. So, I don't think from our standpoint, we have anything to worry about.
Global women's basketball coach Mike Bradbury is in studio with us today.
Coach, once you get into the official start of the season and practices are going on, and what do you see in terms of the players' focus? Because there's a lot of outside noise. It's easy to ask these questions, but from a student-athlete perspective, when they start practicing, do you see that shift in them and their focus is only basketball at that point?
Yeah, practice started yesterday, and we had a good practice, and usually do on the first day. Our team is focused on this year and doing the best we can. JJ, we have 10 new players, from 6 different countries. So
did you get him a pronunciation guide for crying out loud, by the way?
Yeah, we're going to have to work on that with
Allison,
him.
Can you help him with that a little bit?
But, we're trying to get our team to bond together and come together and just focus on us.
How much of that is changed over the last couple of years with the transfer portal and everything about building chemistry in a shorter amount of time than you usually got?
Yeah, it's important. I think for just an example of last year's team, we had a lot of new players, and that bunch came together really quickly and played as hard as any team that I've had, and we're trying to get this year's team to do that. But it's something you have to work at, and it starts in June when they first get here.
Mike's in studio today because we've got a sweet deal for you that's going to go on sale live at 9 o'clock. Take advantage of this. Lobo men's and women's basketball tickets are our sweet deal today. 50% off of Lobo women's basketball season tickets. It's a $220 value for $110. You get a ticket to every Lobo women's home game for just $110. $50 off of Lobo men's season tickets. That's a $612 value. It's season tickets for Lobo men's basketball for just $306. Go to our website, sportsanimalabq.com, click on the sweet deal icon right at 9 o'clock, and take advantage of this. I'm looking at what you've got. You got Gonzaga coming in. You've got your schedule's nice as you look forward. And then I just looked at, I think I counted, what'd you say, 7 countries? I mean, you're all over the globe.
Yeah, it's been something we've went after in the last few years. We start in Germany and then Congo, Spain, Portugal, Mozambique, Finland, and then the United States. And then even the kids from here, D.C., North Carolina, Ohio, California, Texas. We're spread across this country too. And, it's a very good group. It's a diverse group. I think we were kidding at practice yesterday. I think this team could go anywhere in the world, and we would be able to communicate.
How many languages? Do you speak a little bit of each language? Do you try to pick up something in each player's native tongue?
It's funny because I try to get each language them to teach me one phrase every week, and I can usually hang on to that one for that week. But when I get like 6 new ones, the previous 6 usually go away.
And do they mess with you and just teach you the bad words?
They don't.
I
make
dad's kitchens.
I make sure that they don't, so I don't embarrass myself.
When you go out, and I guess I joke about this a little bit about pronunciation guys and things like that. But when you go and recruit somebody like Lily Hakkarainen, I'm trying to do these phonetically, and JJ's going to get all these when he does the games. But how much research do you do before you meet this young lady in person, whether it's Liddy Mwamba or whomever it is? You got to make sure I'm pronouncing your name right, or do you always ask, how do you say your name? And how much research do you have to do on them outside of basketball before you sit down in front of them?
Well, we try to do a lot because we're recruiting the best basketball players that we can get, but also with the highest character. We want high character kids in our program, and that helps you with that team chemistry that we were talking about. So with Lily, it came down to, she's from Finland. Well, when I was coaching at Xavier, I had a kid there named Retta Papari. She was from Finland. She's now one of the national team coaches in Finland. So she's the one that told us about her, and she knew all the background, knew the family, got us on the phone with her. We did Zooms with her and the family, several of those, so we got to know her. So that's kind of how it worked with her. But you do a lot of background with each and every one.
I'd love to get some of these young ladies on. I love hearing the stories, of all of them, but really the international ladies who traveled and how they ended up here and the culture, the difference between, the Congo and where they, go to Trinity Valley College to here and just, the dots on the map and start drawing them. I love those stories.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that's what makes our team unique and special and fun to be around. The accents and the languages, Jeff, you come by practice one day, I mean, it's incredible just to hear the different accents and languages because you'll hear it for 2 hours.
What language outside of English is yelled the most? Like, when you're yelling at them or speaking to them, you're using English, I'm going to guess.
That is correct.
Right. But what's the second most used language?
I'm going to say Portuguese.
Really?
Yeah, because we have 3 people that speak Portuguese. So that's probably the most used in practice.
JJ, that's what you got to learn. That's your second language. You got to go Portuguese. All right, I know you got to run. Here's what we got, and let people know about the schedule a little bit. We got the sweet deal, and it is literally, there's only, I think, 50 of these for women's basketball, 75 available for men. Half-price season tickets go on sale on our website, sportsanimалabq.com, right at 9 o'clock. And you put together something, I know you're pretty happy with this.
Yeah, really happy about the schedule. Obviously, a marquee game against Gonzaga, perennial top 20 team. We had a great game up with them in Spokane last year. Looking forward to that game. But also opening day, 11 a.m., special time. Going to have a lot of kids from Albuquerque, school kids there. The men play later that night. So looking forward to both those as well as New Mexico State.
Got a good team, don't you?
Love this team. Looking forward to the season.
All right. I appreciate you stopping by. Let's do this a number of times as we go through. Love to get some of the ladies on here as well and let the people know who they are. And I think when their personalities come out, I think people want to go out and see them even more. So hopefully we get to do that. He is Mike Bradbury. He's the head women's basketball coach at the University of New Mexico. And take advantage of our sweet deal. Go live to our website, sportsanimалabq.com. Do it at 9 o'clock. Take advantage of 50% off. Half-price global women's and men's. You make your choice. Get them both would be my suggestion. But season tickets are available at the sweet deal icon. Best of luck this season. We'll see you soon. Always good to see you.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it.
It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report brought to you by
They didn't make. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
For doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Mike down the hall. James wants to know, why are the women practicing already, Jeffy? They're going to be worn out by the time the important games get here 5 months from now. Remember, it wasn't that long ago the practice didn't begin until November 1 at Midnight Madness. With games starting December 1, there was a reason for that. James is pissed. What about all those other teams that are, by the way, they're practicing now, and will they be worn out too? The team that wins it all, is practicing now also. Will they be worn out? Or it'll just be New Mexico because they're at altitude?
Just the Lobos. That's why everyone's getting away from UNM and the altitude.
That makes sense. But they're going to Logan, right? And they're going to Colorado State. Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand. All right, a couple more things. We've been talking, obviously, about the realignment stuff and where New Mexico is. And, I felt bad for Mike. I mean, I the way I asked him the question, I'm not solved the problem. But how are you answering the questions? I know you're getting them every day. And basketball coach, global women's basketball coach, Mike Bradbury. I mean, you're getting them every day. I saw Richard Pitino out at the tailgate the other day. That's all anybody wanted to talk to him about.
You know what? I think in this day and age, though, it's easier to manage than it would be. Because you really are looking at year to year with these rosters.
So that makes it harder to recruit, doesn't it?
Not in the transfer portal.
Maybe not. Yeah, you're right. Maury said, let's look way, way back, Jeffy. March 2024. That's about, 5 months ago. When you were in Vegas talking about what a great job Gloria and Eduardo were doing, what a difference 6 months makes. P.S. Remember when Utah State was on Franchione's rotating lists of patsies along with Northern Arizona, Central Florida, and Idaho State? I don't remember that. Look, I think Gloria did. I still think Gloria did a good job keeping this thing together. Now you're going to say, well, why? How'd they all bail? They bailed because there was more money, or at least more promised money, or at least more assumed promised money at the Pac-12. San Diego State and Boise State were going to bail the whole time. They were out. Didn't they both go to the Big East?
They tried to go to the Big East.
Then they
would have tried to go to the American. They would have gone to anywhere.
Those two teams were out. And so then when they left, it started fraying in Fresno State and Colorado. And I think Colorado State was gone too. I still think Gloria did a hell of a job keeping this thing together. I do. Now, it may not stay together. We'll see. Les says 2 things holding Lobo Athletics back, Jeff. University Stadium, outdated the day it opened in 1960. Number 2, when Michelle Lujan Newsom sent the message the state of New Mexico was closed for business, especially to intercollegiate athletics. Do you think that's still holding it back?
No.
Cool.
Like you could say, is there a trickle-down effect from that? You missed on opportunities in year 1 for football.
Okay. Matt says realignment. Jeff, interesting you bring up the Boise State basketball versus UNM baseball incident from a couple years ago. Used the term stuck in their craw, and it resonated. It does feel like we are somehow being blocked. Yeah, football stinks and nobody watches, et cetera, et cetera. I get that. Utah State has higher viewership numbers, but isn't it about potential? If UNM football wasn't god-awful for the last 20 years, I feel like our numbers would be much higher than Utah State. It's almost a certainty. Way bigger population, first in market. It definitely seems like there's an anyone but UNM attitude at this point. I mean, not even hear us floated. It's strange. It's from Matt. So I think that's got to be part of your argument. Yeah, our viewership numbers are down because we've been down, but we are going to get better. UNLV's numbers are down too. Air Force's numbers are relatively low. We're going to get better. And I guess if you're San Diego State, you're Utah, well, if you're San Diego State, Washington State, Boise State, you're sitting in that room. Why do I believe New Mexico is going to get better? Like, why would I believe that? Well, they hired a good coach, a proven winner. Yeah, but can they keep him? They say they're going to do this and this and this to their facility. I mean, right? You got to convince them that
we got a concept of a plan.
Yeah. No way Lobo football loses, right, this weekend unless they hang. What does that mean? P.S. Will you and Nick Nee have Aggie Vision on Saturday? No. It'll be Adam Young and Danny Nee. Nick's uncle and Adam Young. That's the Aggie Vision broadcast. George and I will not be on that broadcast. John says the writing was on the wall. He says Nunez knew exactly what he was doing. He saw the writing on the wall and left mostly because of this. He duped the university, plain and simple. He knew what was going to happen and left UNM in the lurch. Now, I know college football is your breadwinner. You're vested in its success. But as I've said before, it's really time to think of all our options, and becoming the Mountain Time Zone Gonzaga or the coaching NIL farm team has to be one of the options. Back up the truck to Pitino and go with that. We are 100s in viewership, and frankly, we always will be. Doesn't really matter to me. I got my season ticket. I'll be at the pit come opening day. I couldn't care less about the southeast corner of the University of Cesar Chavez, other than making sure my daughter can park safely in the south lot. It's from John. He's the guy who wants to drop football or pay nothing for football and just be the farm team. And that's why you're where you are. And somehow that's going to help you keep Patino, and you're going to be better in basketball. So that's what he wants to do. All right. 505-246-0610. We can get into the NFL stuff too. I got a bunch on those too. Mike says, don't Stokes and Nunez have contractual requirements the Lobo Athletics remain in the top tier of their conference, Jeff Alou? I don't know. I don't even know how to define top tier. Is it just in football or is it in everything else? I don't know. And on the back to the Nunez knew exactly what he was doing thing. He saw the writing on the wall, and that's why he left. He left because he more than doubled his salary and went to a Big 12 school. Am I wrong? And the timing was what the timing was. He didn't create the timing on when the Houston offer came in. Like, I'll listen to a lot of conspiracy theories, and I'll listen to a lot of stuff. Well, he knew this was happening. That's why he wanted out. He wanted out because he wanted to further his career. He wants to be an SEC athletic director. He wants to be at Auburn or Florida or ACC Miami, right? He wants to be at one of those places. And I think he realized he needed to take another step before he got there. And he had an opportunity to go. What's the report? He's making $1 million a year, and he's in the Big 12?
I think it was more a coincidence
of the timing.
Like, he was looking to get another job.
Yes.
As is anyone that's successful at the University of New Mexico.
Yes. Yeah, John, I struggle on that. Now, I mean, do you think if they were going to get into the Pac-12, he would have turned down Houston and said, no, I'm staying at New Mexico. I like my 400 and whatever grand, which is good money. I'm not telling you it's not. I don't want to make $1 million a year and go to the Big 12. I mean, I struggle with that one. Now, did he see it coming? Yeah, I'm gonna guess. Well, I'm not gonna guess. Yeah, I mean, he knew this was a possibility. Absolutely. I mean, when he sat right here, JJ, we talked to him about it. He knew that was a possibility. How many times did I ask him, address Lobo fan whose fear is we're going to get left out? I mean, I asked him that question 3-4 times in different ways. So, yeah, John, is that why he left? No. The timing was what it was, and it was, you pick your word, ironic, unfortunate, whatever. Or fortunate if you didn't like him. But I'm not going as far as he left, he bailed. It's not like he just left and went to Weber State. Nothing against Weber State. They just came up in a conversation. Right? It's not like he left and went to a junior college. He left and went to a Big 12 school that paid him $1 million. The timing was what it was. And are you in a lurch? You've got an interim athletic director. Hopefully that interim athletic director is out and trying to get this done. And look, if David Williams lands you in the best possible place and gets you in the Pac-12 or whatever, he probably wins himself the job, right?
It's entirely possible.
And if he doesn't, he probably doesn't. All right, 505-246-0610. But yeah, I'll buy into a lot of stuff. I just, one, I'm not getting into is that's why Eddie left. He saw the writing on the wall. I don't know, man. You think if they were in a great place in this league, he'd have said no to Houston and he'd have stayed? No, nor would you have. Planning an event? I got a spot for you. Looking for a venue? Need a venue? Need a great spot? Versatile, 600,000 square feet of versatile meeting space. It's the Albuquerque Convention Center. It's right in the heart of downtown Albuquerque. Easy to get to, easy to park. They got a parking garage adjacent to the facility. Whether your event's 10 people or 20,000 people, a gala, an expo, a conference, a gathering, a meeting, a party, a reception, whatever it is, they will take care of you and you will be stoked. And your guests will be so glad that they were there. They got a staff, service, food and beverage options that go above and beyond. Your dream event will become a reality. They got exterior and interior walls decorated with local art pieces, great food and beverage options, right in the historic downtown area. Your event will satisfy every attendee. So be at the center of it all. Book your party, your event, your gala, whatever your gathering is at the Albuquerque Convention Center. I know a lot of you are on duty right now. You're in charge of holiday parties. Albuquerque Convention Center. I've been there. I know you have as well. In fact, we do an event there every year for the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. We take our student athletes there. They take care of our people. That's why we keep going back. Look at them online. It's at albuquerquecc.com. And then give them a call at 505-768-4575. Area code 505-768-4575. Be at the center of it all.
This report.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety, Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
State is the grout of this league, is what's holding it, or going to bust this whole league up, isn't it? The Utah State of all of it. 505-246-0610. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, good morning to you. Tony, thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Tony?
Hey, on the thing on Eddie Nunez, I think it's ridiculous to say that he left because he saw this coming.
Yep.
And I think it's the next step for him going to Houston.
Yep.
I was sad to see him go, but it's not going to surprise me when he's named the commissioner of one of these leagues.
Okay.
And I think this is just the next step for him, and he'll end out as commissioner of one of the big leagues at one point.
All right. Appreciate you, Tony, but I agree with you on that's not why he left. I 100% agree.
And I think that back in September, when the Pac-10 did not sign that deal with us, I was leery about what was going to happen. I thought that there was something, they were up to something. And so I just think that they did what happened to them.
Yep, 100%. That's what JJ's been saying. No, I appreciate you, Tony. Don't be a stranger. I agree with him. Look, that's not why Eddie left. Eddie got a job offer to go further his career, make a lot more money. And so he left. And, you know, it's what you've been saying. They've been crying, look, what was us? They hurt us, they broke us, and then they went and destroyed another league. Jeffrey, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hey, good morning. As far as Eddie Nunez, any of the listeners would have done the same thing, so stop with the nonsensical hypocrisy. But I'm old enough to remember New Mexico and some other WAC schools at the time being orphaned. Remember Arizona and Arizona State leaving in the, I think it was the late 70s or mid-70s. That was a big deal when they went to the Pac-8 at the time.
Yep.
And then, of course, you had BYU and then Utah orphaned New Mexico and some other schools
TCU.
at the time. Now this is like the third iteration. I certainly don't have an answer, but I do think part of the answer is what one of the two of you said. Unless New Mexico has a plan, and I would also attach myself to the governor and all the resources. She's a UNM graduate. In fact, I was a Sigma Chi. She was a Tri Delt, so I've known her for 1,000 years. But we have an enormous surplus in our coffers, and the athletic department has to be extremely proactive in putting a plan together. But ironically, even though it seems like New Mexico has been orphaned again for the third time, we're in an ironic position because the state has more resources. I'm talking about in the billions of dollars than it's had in the history of its statehood. So now, ironically, even though we've been orphaned, this is the time to put resources, money, and a plan together because we're in the best position in that regard to do so.
Here's the deal. That plan needs to be in place. You can't
Absolutely.
that plan needed to be in place, and you may have all the money you want. You got to be willing to utilize it, and I don't know that there's an appetite for that, and I hope there is. And B, you need it like now, yesterday, 2 days ago, last week, 3 weeks ago. You can't start cobbling it together now. Rome is burning now. You see my?
Yeah. No, I agree. Absolutely. Part of it needs to be, a plan to improve the facilities with football and the like. But what I'm getting at is we are in a position in terms of resources and money to do that right now.
I agree.
And the governor is a UNM graduate, so the resources are there. So let's do it.
All right. Good to hear you. I agree with you.
Thanks.
I mean, but this can't be. Well, we'll look at it in January and February in legislature and see. No. Like now, yesterday, last week, 3 weeks ago. 505-246-0610. You got a lot to say today. We're here for you on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505 897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
For doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Anything around him that year. I'll still contend Terry Wilson was a good quarterback because I saw him play at Kentucky. But okay, it didn't work here. JJ, something's going to happen today. I mean, I keep watching the tweeter and waiting for something to go down and see what's going to happen. But now it's up to UNLV, it feels like, right?
Yeah, this is one where the Pac-12 came out swinging. They missed, but then they're going to potentially back their way into not having to pay out any buyout fees because they're just going to pick apart the Mountain West
one at a time
from the inside. And thus, it could lead to the Mountain West dissolving, those buyout fees going away.
Well, if the league dissolves, if everybody disperses, they don't have to pay anything, and then they still sit there with their war chest, and they're just laughing at you.
All for what? To go to one less place of elevation?
You'd not have to go to Albuquerque. Yeah, I guess. All right, you can continue to have that conversation. We did have 2 NFL games last night. Bills 47, Jaguars 10, Commanders 38, Bengals 33. We'll start with the early game, and Josh Allen did everything he wanted, and they were terrific. Look, there's 2 quarterbacks, JJ, and there's 2 first overall pick quarterbacks who were on display yesterday. And they weren't the 2 quarterbacks who won. Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. And we keep expecting Trevor Lawrence to hit. And we keep, this is going to be the year, this is going to be it. He got a new coach. At some point, and we might be at that point, it's like, and you paid this dude $55 million a year. Is there a conversation to be had that he ain't it?
Have it.
I mean,
he's one of those guys that you still feel there's talent, and you're really going to give up on that? Because this
you're not going to give up on it because you're so financially tied to it.
Well, if you ain't that dude, then you got to move on. Like, you make these decisions,
It's
big boy
the
decisions
Deshaun
in
Watson
the NFL.
conversation.
Yeah.
I mean,
If
is
you eat
he,
it. The Broncos did.
Is he Deshaun Watson?
His performances are like that right now. Like, it's incredibly frustrating for the Jaguars. You've invested in that offense. You have multiple first-round picks around him.
Mm-hmm.
You've invested in receivers in the free agent market.
Draft.
To get that kind of production. And it is one where you're not changing Trevor Lawrence, though, right now. Because the talent is still tantalizing. Doug Peterson is not.
So is
doing
he the
anything for
issue?
that team.
All right.
Yes.
Oh.
He came in and it was kind of a good start. But then you look at the second half of last season, where they fell on their face. The start of this season, you look at the utilization of that offense. Doug Peterson's not bringing anything to the table right now.
So, I'm not ready to argue with you on that yet, because you might be right. But Trevor Lawrence has been shielded by, Urban Meyer was so bad. He didn't have a chance. Oh, okay. So now we bring in Doug Peterson. Now it's Doug Peterson's fault. At what point is it going to be on the player?
Then cut him.
I'm not saying cut him. At what point?
I know.
Dude, I don't know what you do. Mac Jones looked lost out there when they threw him out there, and he dropped the football and gave it away.
You can't keep paying these guys the next biggest bag.
I think that's the answer, but how do you
There's
not?
good quarterbacks in this league. Like Trevor Lawrence, he's not playing well right now. You can't tell me that guy can't be a good quarterback. Like he has talents other people don't. So something is not right. And it's with Trevor Lawrence. He's going to get the opportunity to fix it because of that contract. Should he? That's a fair question, but he's going to.
All right. Let me go the other one. Can we stop calling Joe Burrow the second best quarterback in the NFL? Dude, they're 0-3. Since the Super Bowl, he's been hurt, and they've lost. Now, they lost the next year to the Chiefs in the playoffs. He wasn't horrible last night. 29-38, 3 touchdowns, 324 yards. But they're 0-3. They lost at home to the Patriots, who look pathetic. 1 point loss to the Chiefs. They were in it. Last night's a game you had to win. Had to win. And you know who the best quarterback on the field was? The rookie.
That wasn't on Joe Burrow.
Okay. When did they win? I mean, granted, you gave up 38 points. So I'm not totally pinning the loss on Joe Burrow.
Burrow's third best quarterback in the NFL.
Is he?
Behind, yes.
I'm not sure I'm ready.
Are you taking over Joe Burrow?
I'm taking Mahomes and Allen. Okay. Yeah. And then, dude, if you ask me who do I want for the next 5 years, is that kind of the conversation?
Yeah.
Like who would you take? I'll tell you what, man, the guy I watched last night was really good. C.J. Stroud's really good. Lamar Jackson's really good. Lamar Jackson's 1-2. I just, it goes back to your point, by the way. You got to stop paying these guys $60 million a year, and you're not going to. No, look, I'm not taking anybody in his division. Well, I know Lamar's there. I mean, there's a few. I just don't know that there's a clear-cut number 3, and I don't. At some point, do you have to win? And that's the little Lamar thing.
He does have that. He has playoff wins.
He did. He went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, he did.
The team is 0-3. That falls on the quarterback. It's understandable.
So does that not have a void date on it? Like, I've been to the Super Bowl, so like Joe Flacco. I won a Super Bowl, so I got carte blanche forever.
Well, Joe Burrow's also got the talent.
He does. He does.
Like a different talent ceiling. Like, I didn't watch that game last night, and they lost because of Joe Burrow. Now, kicking field goals in the red zone ended up hurting them.
How about that?
But I don't think people anticipated Jaden Daniels only throwing 2 incomplete passes.
21 for 23 for 254 yards for Jaden Daniels, 2 touchdowns, and he ran for another one. Jaden Daniels was terrific. Like, is Jaden Daniels C.J. Stroud? Is the number 2 pick the magic number in the draft? to turn your
What's
franchise
it like?
around?
No, I'm not giving up on Caleb Williams.
No.
But maybe Cliff Kingsbury actually had a bit of a plan.
How about the noise that
Early in
was
the season.
coming out of the Bengals? That it's a college offense and Cliff Kingsbury's running it and they're running this college quarterback. All the noise that came out of Cincinnati. Why don't you guys win a freaking game before you start running your face? Just asking.
Well, and I'm with you. I don't have that as strong as a feeling on Joe Burrow as you do.
I'm not ready to give up on Joe Burrow. But look, my point on Joe Burrow
It's the Josh Allen thing.
It is in a large
Like
respect.
last week, is Joe Burrow lose that game to the Chiefs?
No, I mean, look, you're right. It's the Josh Allen thing. You're right. They're both really good. They haven't got over the hump. But Josh Allen's 3-0. Joe Burrow's 0-3. Now you can say, well, is Josh Allen really? Yes. Who'd they beat? I mean, a Cardinals team that we think is decent, Dolphins team that was beat up, and a Jaguars team that's bad. Here, let's see what the Bills are the next few weeks. Here come the Ravens, Texans, Jets. It gets a little better, right? Let's see. As opposed, they didn't have to play the Chiefs yet. They will later on the 17th of November. All that's right. I'm not ready to give up on it, dude. You know me better than to overreact to one. This is me now looking back the last few. You're not available. You're not winning. Numbers are good. Why were they down so big? This is the Cowboys thing in large respect to me. Like, why were you down so much and have to come back?
Yeah, I'm more frustrated with week one as opposed to
Sure, well, the
last
week
night
one should
for
piss you off.
Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Yeah. No, week one should anger you if you're a Bengals fan when you lose at home to the Patriots.
Like, they couldn't stop Jaden Daniels. That was all on the defense last night.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, and what a game plan it was. And to see the confidence of young quarterback and bring him along a little bit slowly. They weren't pushing the football downfield a lot. They still picked their spots, and they were good spots, using a lot of max protect. Like, it was a fantastic game plan from the Commanders.
Yeah. All right. You watched them last night. What do you think? 505-246-0610. Want to hear your thoughts on the NFL last night, on the realignment stuff, where you are, where you aren't. It's 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive. I'll get you some injury updates, too, on the NFL on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Dirty Boys present.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Okie. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indy Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Man, the vitriol on the social media. Like one dude's like, why don't the Pac-12 and Mountain West just merge already? And the F-bombs that were lobbed at that dude. And no, you idiot. The whole idea is to get away from New Mexico and Wyoming. Wow. One guy even said no New Mexico twice for the same thing. I don't even know that he realized that. Man, it's crazy out there. I haven't heard anything new today, but I got to believe and I got to hope that everybody's on the phone and figuring this thing out. And try. I mean, the next domino is UNLV, right? I mean, if you're a Utah State fan, you just got to go, yeah, buddy, we hit the lottery. And you're like, I know some of you are going, what lottery? The stability lottery. I know Rudy called in and said they both have 7. Who's going to join their league? Anybody you ask is going to join their league. In this league. Like, if you reach out to New Mexico, you would jump. Nevada would jump. Wyoming would jump. I think UNLV, we'll see. You're trying to put that money together, that war chest of money that you're getting, to hold this thing together. But we'll see. 505-246-0610. You're in a lot today. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. Jack says, Lobo football hot take. Jeff, you have a struggling Lobo D and Rocky Long coaching at Fort Lewis College. Just saying. Jack's saying, go get Rocky and have him coach your defense. Ron says, remember when Trevor Lawrence sucked as a true freshman and everybody, and he said JJ, but you're not the only one, blamed it all on urban decay? With what I saw last night, I'm giving Thomas Patrick Brady a call. From Ron. Right, I'm not calling Tom Brady to come
Let's not try to play this game like Urban Meyer wasn't a disaster. Now, Trevor Lawrence hasn't progressed like we'd expect from that, but let's not start acting like that wasn't
it was
a
horrible.
Ridiculous problem.
It was horrible, but everybody expected, and I say everybody, I think the vast majority, like 95%, once Urban Meyer was, you're bringing in Doug Peterson. Look, he was great with Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. He went to the Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl.
Trevor Lawrence isn't immune to criticism, and it's on Trevor Lawrence because he's not elevating people. And there was an obvious bump post Urban Meyer. Now we're seeing regression from Trevor Lawrence in the Jaguars team over the back end of last season and the first 3 games this year.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer was a problem.
Urban Meyer was a problem for that whole organization, by the way. By the way, he's got a pretty plush job sitting on Fox now. Like, I mean, they freaking love it. Carl says, but I thought a caller said last week on the OD, Jeffy, that Nevada and UNLV were a package deal when it comes to conferences. Dude, a lot of people say a lot of things. Yeah, a caller did say that. And it's not necessarily right. So I talked to somebody in Nevada yesterday who I do believe knows this. And evidently the legislature would like them to stay together, but they would have to vote or something, and the majority of the legislators or regents or whatever, whoever makes the call, is in Clark County where UNLV is. Look, UNLV plays in a NFL stadium in I don't want to say huge city, but one of the fastest growing cities in America where everything is, and Reno plays in a stadium very much like the one here, in a smaller town. That may even be the hang up here. You know, it may be UNLV saying, well, we're trying to get it through, you know, the legislature or whoever to let us go. I don't know that for sure. But that's, I did have that conversation yesterday in regards to putting them together. All right. Mud says the Mountain West Conference should add New Mexico State, Texas State, UTEP, Montana State in all sports. Get St. Mary's and Grand Canyon in basketball only. It may go that way. Now, Texas State would be interesting. Would they leave the Sun Belt for that configuration of the Mountain West?
I don't know what their media rights deal is, and if they buyout penalties.
It'll be all projected too. I mean, what's it going to be going forward? All the deals, you know, end in 2025 next year. I think they're going to. I don't know. I don't know what the buyout in the Sun Belt is either. But I've heard Texas State a lot, and we'll see. Boy, those Big Sky schools and the Dakotas are really been something that a lot of people are talking about. All right, 505-246-0610. Well, this is crazy. It just came out. Brett Favre announced at a congressional hearing today that he was recently diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He was at the House Ways and Means Committee. He was talking about a company making a concussion drug that received $2 million of temporary assistance. He's an investor in that company. And he said, quote, sadly, I also lost an investment in a company that I believe was developing a breakthrough concussion drug I thought would help others. And I'm sure you'll understand why it's too late for me because I've recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's. This is also a cause dear to my heart. It's interesting. Just want to get that to you because that just broke. 505-246-0610. Jerry, you want to talk about the conference stuff. Hi, Jerry.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
I broke away to hit some golf balls, and now I come back, and you're talking about Nevada. So has UNLV announced yet that they're leaving? Or
No,
they haven't. Okay.
No.
You know, I can't believe nobody's brought this up, but do you believe in the adage that you're as weak as you're as strong as your weakest link?
Mm-hmm.
You believe in that adage?
Yeah, no, I do.
Well, I think that just happened. So, I mean, if they're going to take a Utah State, what does that make? What does that make our conference now?
Hanging on.
Yeah,
I mean, don't you think?
Yeah.
Until
the next weak link goes, right? Don't you think somebody else is going to go?
I do. Yeah.
So so that's the reality. So what we got to do, just like everybody else, is we got to improve. Now, we've had so many opportunities to do that, but our stupid legislature won't help us. The cribs, and then they blow all the money on the pit rather than spend some money on football. So we have got to take those steps right now, just like the state needs to take some steps to correct the problems that we've had for whatever. So if we can do that, perhaps in 5 or 10 years, we'll have a chance to move out. But for now, we're lucky to be even be in a conference.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, where are you going to land, right? And that's what bothers me in a little bit of respect is it's not like this blindsided anybody, Jerry. Like, everybody saw this coming, and why there wasn't something in place. And look, now maybe the state's not willing to help you. Okay, that may be the answer. Okay, that might be the answer. Maybe they went to the state and the state said no. Okay, and I don't like that, but I could at least you tried. to be caught in a situation where you're now, if, and I don't know this to be true, but if you're in a place where you're just now trying to develop a plan, and well, we got money and we got to go to the state, and now we got to, no, like this has been coming for how long? Ever since the PAC blew up. I think we all thought this was a possibility. And that's what would bother me if that in fact didn't happen. That's all. So, all right, man. Appreciate you. Thanks. So, you know, back in the day, JJ, and look, a lot of people did like Rudy Davalos. A lot of people didn't. Whatever. Rudy was a good AD. And one thing Rudy had, and I'm not sure any of the athletic directors since have had, was the relationship with the governor. And you can say this is bad. You can say this was good. It's going to be really dependent upon your perspective. But Rudy would pick up the phone and call Bill Richardson. And, you know, and they'd jar back and forth, and Richardson would give him a hard time. But usually Rudy would get what he needed. And in a situation like this, you know, could the governor find whatever the money is you need? But that was a relationship that I don't know that stands today. Certainly with an interim athletic director, and this is nothing against Dave. I mean, he's been on the job for 3 weeks, and then this thing fell in his lap, and is he supposed to have a relationship with the governor? I'm not sure Eddie did. I don't know that Paul did. But that was one thing, you know, back in the day where your athletic director had a relationship with the governor, pick up the phone, would actually get the governor on the phone and say, hey, this is like vital. JJ, I've been here 28 years. This is the most critical moment for UNM athletics since I've been here. I don't think that's exaggeration, do you?
No, and you have to. You talked about plans. You're presenting a plan in the Pac-12. We also have to present a plan to the legislature. Yeah. Why does athletics matter? Why should you care about this? Yeah. In the state of New Mexico, why should you be investing in your Division I universities? Profile, opportunity, exposure.
It's too late?
It might be, but you never know. Because all it takes is 8 hours from one thing to another to have this thing not go through, this thing happen, and you're in a completely different landscape.
Yeah. All right, I got more. I got a really good one. When we get back, 505-246-0610. You keep them coming. The email is jeff@sportsanimalabq.com. JJ@sportsanimalabq.com. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Get ready to step into the ring of excitement.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Are the teams, the new PAC teams, have Utah State? Headline in the San Diego Union Tribune this morning. AAC spurns Pac-12 expansion advances, leaving SDSU and new league to settle for Utah State. Welcome to our league. Right, that's where they are. I got an email. This is I've never seen this email address before come through. It's from Kevin. It says Pac-12 and Mountain West. Hi, Jeff and JJ. I listened to some of your show this morning and talking about a package that could be presented to the Pac-12. And JJ, here he's going to use a term that I've used a lot. He says, one thing that has always bothered me about New Mexico is that we are the richest poor state in the country. Right? You've heard me use that term a lot, right? He continues, we currently sit on $53.407 billion in permanent funds in Santa Fe. No other state in the country has permanent funds with that kind of money sitting in it. We literally have the money to transform New Mexico athletics overnight for both UNM and NMSU. The state legislature could easily give UNM and NMSU $1 billion each for athletics. Then UNM can build a $400 million stadium with restaurants and breweries. That would leave UNM with $600 million to pay coaches and players and anything else they need to do. With that kind of commitment, I would think even the Big 12 would be interested in New Mexico. They'd be able to pay the women's sports teams coaches in the millions, and that would attract the best coaches around the country. The legislature will say, but we need that money for education and other things. But if all our students are leaving the state, then what are we really doing? By investing in athletics, then students will want to stay. It's Kevin. I don't know if you need $1 billion. And look, if that number's right, I didn't fact check the number, but I know there's a lot. JJ, I hate having to turn to the state, but you do. And again, this is one of those things that if you would have done it proactively, you wouldn't be in this situation. But yeah, if you'd have invested in that, then you'd have an opportunity to be in that league or whatever league you need to be in. Jason's in. UNLV is on the clock. Good morning, OD. Rivalry week is here. And all the 505 is talking about is the PAC. So I'll stay on topic. As an NMSU alum and fan of the Aggies, I remember being told about the healthy rivalries with Utah State, Fresno, UNLV, and Boise in conference in the 80s, 90s in the mighty Big West. The ironic thing about this PAC conversation is that there was a time that the fan bases left behind, specifically one up north, would look down their noses at those programs. Those programs came to the Mountain West to save your league as you watched, cheered, and even helped the WAC implode. It's funny and ironic how Lobo fan fails to remember them being on the, quote, quote, right, end quote, side of treacherous behavior. Let's play the hits. Let's play the hits, shall we? The secret meeting at the Denver airport that left behind 8 programs in the WAC to form the Mountain West Conference. The assistance in killing the WAC by taking 6 programs, thus killing that historic conference. Now the narrative is, which is hard to say without laughing, how dare Washington State and Oregon State do that to us, UNM fan? Or they're doing what happened to them, shame on them. Irony with a capital I. Interesting that the programs left in the Mountain West Conference from that Denver meeting in spring of '88, Wyoming, UNM, Air Force, UNLV, might actually be one of the programs that has to be the last one to leave the room and turn out the lights. Crimsonally, Jason. Yeah, it absolutely happened, and you've been on the other side of it. And it sucks to be on the other side. Right?
Yeah, this isn't anything that hasn't happened before. And if you want to look back on that, then you need to tell every fan base across the country to stop talking, stop caring about it. It's going to happen, let it happen. But when it's happening, you fight as hard as you can to not be one of those schools that's left out.
And now you are. Lobo Hobo says the silence is deafening, Jeffy. There should be a presser in Santa Fe today with Stokes, Michelle Lujan, Newsom, and legislative leaders to announce a plan including construction of a new state-of-the-art stadium. From Lobo Hobo. I don't know. There needs to be a plan. There needs to be. I just think Lobo fan is sitting here right now, JJ, just wanting to hear something from leadership. Right. That's what I'm feeling today. Today, our phone lines blew up today. Our input all blew up today.
Even if you don't have an answer, you have to say something.
Don't you think?
At this point. And even if it's, hey, here's the opening paragraph as to why we feel like we matter and should be in these conversations.
And here's what we're doing for you, our passionate fan base. Because at the same time, you're asking them for money for NIL, for Lobo Club, for everything else. And I'm going to trust that David and President Stokes are doing everything they can. I know David was in D.C. yesterday. But you were out there. I mean, you were up in the press box, right? Oh, no, you were here. You were here. You don't even get, that's right. You did the studio show from here. I mean, JJ, all anybody wanted to talk about at that tailgate the other day, and like somehow I knew. I got my buddy in Nevada yesterday called me and, all right, well, give me the scoop. Do you have ears in those rooms? I'm like, no, dude, I don't have ears in those rooms. But I mean, Nevada's in the same spot. Is Stephanie Remke out there saying something? I know Tom Berman put out a release. I talked to a couple. I've talked to a number of the athletic directors left in the Mountain West in the last 7 days. And I know they're all doing something. Dan says big money for sports, Jeffrey, in Juan Jose. New Mexico can't even fix their roads. I was in northwestern New Mexico on business trip last week, and it's a punishing drive. Apparently, NM can't afford $50 a pothole patch. Look, I'm not telling you what. Hell, I am kind of. If there's that kind of money, then the answer is you can do a lot of things: education, security, crime, and help athletics. You can. I'm not going to tell you athletics is more important than crime, solving crime. It's not. But I'm going to tell you, if athletics matters to you, and it does to a lot of people in a lot of communities, and you see what it does to a lot of communities, and right now you've never been at a more, it's perilous a word, tumultuous, vital time. I mean, this is the most dangerous, vital time that I can recall in my whole time here for UNM Athletics. And so, you need leadership, and look, it might not be able to be saved, JJ. It might be too far. When you read some of the comments, and again, it's an idiot with a thumb, but is it being said in the room when Fresno State, Boise State, San Diego State, and Colorado State got together? Is it done? At least we got rid of New Mexico and Wyoming.
It feels that way.
It sure as hell does.
It does.
Absolutely does.
And whether or not it's too late, you have to swing as much as you can.
Damn right.
For whatever's next.
Yeah, I don't know. You have a choice. All right, big baseball tonight. Ronnie wants to know, Jeff and JJ, does Dodger pitching staff show up this series? Will the Dodgers hitters continue to put up 6 runs a game? That means does the Padres pitching show up this weekend? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, or this week. This is the final week of the regular season. Phillies clinched yesterday, the East. Dodgers, Padres, 3 games this week. Dodgers are 3 up on the Padres. I mean, it's crazy. It's going right down to it. Who do you get today? Michael King versus Landon Knack. Tomorrow, Jake Flaherty against Dylan Cease. All right, Al, you want to talk about it. What's up, Al? You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning.
Good morning to you guys. Look, this is a case of being caught basically with our pants down. They should have been pushing forward and doing something with the stadium, number one. But most of all, we've had 2 winning years in the last 15.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to tell you something right there. Maybe we can't win here. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, I think Bronco's trying to do his best, but I just don't think we can do it.
So what do? You give up? What do you? I mean, what's the answer?
I shouldn't say you give up. And I don't want to say we drop. These people that say you drop down in class. That's ridiculous.
Right.
But we're going to have to do something. The state's going to have to come in and give us some money. 2 years back, I'm on business in Logan, Utah, and I'm talking to a guy who goes to, graduated from Utah State, and he said that one year the state gave the school, to enhance its football program, gave him about a good chunk of money, about $10 million.
Yep.
Now, I don't know. Like I said, I was a season ticket holder for so long until 2 years ago. I got so disgusted. I said, "That's it." I'm probably I was a season ticket holder. I don't know. Probably longer than JJ's been alive. Okay, and it's terrible. You got to do something.
Yep, I agree with you. And what's something?
Okay.
Yeah, no, thanks, Al. And so, what is something, and who's leading the charge? Right? I mean, how much did you ask for? Who did you ask? Who'd you piss off? Right? It's a game up there, and I hate the game, but it's a game. You got to play it. Where's it coming from? Where's the money coming from? How much money do you need? And how important is it to the state? 505-246-0610. We'll wrap it up when we get back.
This is Boomer Esiason with the Sports Minute. 4 drivers were eliminated.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
disciplined and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the...
Bills beat the Jags 47-10 on Monday Night Football here on the Sports Animal. Big night for Josh Allen, who threw for 4 touchdowns. Bad night for Trevor Lawrence. Commanders. Washington went into Cincinnati, beat the Bengals 38-33. Cincinnati is 0-3. And then we've been talking a lot about Utah State joining the Pac-12. UNLV making some decisions in the Mountain West, teetering right now, and waiting on UNLV, essentially, is where we are. 505-246-0610. Ken, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Thank you for holding. What's up?
Hey, I apologize if some of this stuff has already been covered. I just started listening. I think UNLV is waiting for the legislators in Nevada.
Yeah, very well could be.
Legislators are saying we want Nevada as well to go with you. That's the only way we're going to sign off on this thing. So I think that's what the delay is. If not, you have to go. You can't wait much longer. You have to have a soft landing in some other conference. So, again, I cannot state this strongly enough what this would do to UNM athletics. If we don't somehow get a lifeline, which it looks increasingly doubtful, that means we would be have a lot of money. We probably have $10, $15 million because the Mountain West would dissolve, and they would have to distribute that money to the 4 or 5 remaining schools, and then we'd be on our own. But in the future, if we go back to the WAC, which we probably would, that would be it for UNM athletics. Our budget would already, from $37 million, it would go down to who knows what. Pac-12 is looking for at least $60 million athletic budget, according to a report this morning. UNM's only 37. It will be a one-team bid conference, so you'd have to get into the NCAA tournament if you just win your tournament. Everything would go down. Pay, could we afford Patino? Patino's pretty much gone at that point. I mean, when he's recruiting these top recruits now, he cannot tell those recruits that they're going to be in a viable conference. He can't talk about, San Diego State in a top 5, top 6 conference anymore if we don't make the Pac-12, which it looks like we're not. So the catastrophic ripple effect of this athletic department in the next 10 to 20 years is going to be so massive that interest is just going to drop to almost nothing because we cannot be competitive on a national level. Just can't do it. We'll be in the WAC or who knows where. Nobody cares. Our rival will be Grand Canyon and New Mexico State, and nobody cares. And it's just so sad. I'm so bummed right now because it just looks like we're going to be left without a chair when the music stops. And this was decades in planning to not get to this point, and we just didn't do it. We didn't get the facility. We didn't put enough money into coaches. Fans didn't care enough, and this day is now here. And it is going to be so dark in this community, and I don't mean to be negative, but it's just, let's be realistic here. Nobody's going to care if we're in the WAC. That is gone. Now we're going to have to aspire to be as good as UNLV. Oh, geez, I wish I was good as Colorado State. Really? That's really, really sad. So, anyways, that's all I got, guys.
I appreciate you. Look, the WAC doesn't play football anymore. I mean, you're probably looking at Conference USA, right? I mean, if this thing dissolves, let's just say New Mexico, Wyoming, Nevada, Hawaii are standing there holding themselves. I mean, is that it? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, they start having to have discussions with Conference USA.
Do they want you?
Sunbelt.
Do they want you? I mean, honestly, like you got to start saying, well, what do we bring to you? Do they want you? That's the worst case scenario, and I get it. Edward said, Jason, with a mic drop of all mic drops on the Lobo program, the chickens have come home to roost on this program. That's what Ken just said. Yeah, look, it could be. It's not over yet, but he sees it going that way, and I know a lot of you are really, really, really nervous about it. And I agree with you, and I'm sad about it too, because it's athletics. It's here you are. You've been wanting to grow up, right? Then I said grow, comma, up. Right? You want them moving up, and the reality is, in his words, there may not be a seat for you at the table. Now, there may be, and hopefully you're fighting like hell to get there. If this league can stay together, can you be in a better spot? Can you be in an okay spot? Yeah. But right now, I don't know how much of it is in your control, but I'm just telling you, if they go down, they should go down fighting like hell. And whatever that means. All right, did I miss any? Because you guys said a lot of stuff today. This is John says, hey guys, a short take regarding the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani. They'll win the National League West pennant, but not sure if they won't implode after the postseason just like last year. They're red hot now. We'll see. I'm not even sure they're going to win the West. We better do some work over the next couple of days. All right, we'll watch today. I don't know if UNLV makes a call today. To his point, are they? I think the Nevada legislature would like UNLV and Nevada to be together, but it's never been a requirement from everything I understand. It's only been the last 12 years where those two schools have been in the same league. Frank, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Frank.
As Buster Scruggs would say, cause for reflection. Mm-hmm. I'm worried about losing you guys. I mean, you can't make a living here with no sports. And, not to make it worse and worse, but are you looking for a job somewhere already?
Damn, dude. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I'm going to miss hearing Rudy and Edward and Howard. I'm going to miss this,
Damn, you think Nunez will take us to Houston? I'm kidding. There'll be sports. At what level will it be? I mean, it sucks that we're at this crossroad right now, and you and I don't have any control. That's kind of the bummer of it, right? You're just waiting to see what happens and hoping that your leadership gets you to where you need to be.
I'm going to drink. Thanks, guys.
All right. I might drink with him. You don't drink, right? So, I mean, it's been an interesting day today. because there have been a million opinions. But everybody's kind of on the same boat, right?
It's like shuffling the deck chairs on that Titanic right now.
Yeah. All right. What do I get tonight? I get baseball. Good baseball tonight. Dodgers and Padres mean a lot. And we'll watch for news to drop. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully they're over there, and I want to trust that your leadership is doing everything they can to put you in the right position. And maybe it's too late, maybe it's not. I don't know. But we'll watch it. All right. I listened to Doug Peterson last night say we got to change. There's no way they bench Trevor Lawrence, right?
No.
Because Mac Jones is
Trevor
behind
Lawrence has to wear this, but you don't bench Trevor Lawrence. You figure it out with Trevor Lawrence. And if you can't figure it out, a new coach will.
Yeah, they will change coaches before they change quarterbacks. They are $55 million a year invested into that quarterback. Thanks to Tony Sanchez, New Mexico State's football coach. He was with us today. Mike Bradbury, the University of New Mexico's women's basketball coach. The Sweet Deal tickets, check them out. Lobo basketball, men's and women's season tickets, half price.
Sold out.
Men's sold out already? 4 minutes?
Yeah.
No bleep? All right, they're not available for you anymore. Women's still available. Jim Rome Show is next. I heard with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On's in at 4. We're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio starting at 7 a.m. Adrian, great stuff. JJ, it's a big day.
Huge day.
Enjoy the rest of it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service,